Welcome to our July 2023 Town Hall meeting. It's a pleasure to be with you. Before I even get started, I want to say thank you to all the people who've provided such great feedback on this thing that we do every quarter to help keep you up to speed, up to date on not only what's going on in the company, but what's going on in the industry. It means the world to me to hear that it's making an impact and that it's giving you information in a way that you find valuable. And I just want to say thank you for that. And we continue to get good attendance and positive feedback. So as long as that continues, we'll keep doing it. It's a pleasure to bring you guys information and share some of the thoughts that we're having as the leadership in the company. So I'm going to start today and just give you a little bit of an update on the quarter, how the home sale did in the quarter relative to last year, and how the market is kind of doing, et cetera, in the quarter, along with some commentary on some interest rates, and hopefully some dialogues that you can use in your conversations with prospective home sellers. We keep getting this anecdotal story about people don't want to sell their home, even though they want to, they're delaying it because of their low interest rate. I'm going to give you some thoughts on how to maybe get past some of those objections about, well, I would sell my house, but my interest rate is so low. So really good part. Going to talk a little bit about the pending legal action against the industry, the class action suits, some things that are going on, and give you some tips on how to get ready for what could be a major change in our industry. And then finally, we're going to go through an update of kind of what we've done over the past quarter and what we have coming up for third quarter. So second quarter, still showing those down metrics, down in closed units 19% compared to 2022, closed volume down 15%. So if units are down more than volume, that tells us our average sales price is going up, and that's exactly what we saw. So our average sales price as a company up to $331,000 now versus $317,000 in second quarter last year. So while down 19% and down 15%, never happy about those kind of down movements. One of the positives I can share is that while we're down quarter over quarter, the first quarter was down 25% in units and 19% in volume. So even though we're still in a downward trajectory, the pace of that downward trajectory is starting to shallow, and it has to shallow before it can start to turn. So we're starting to see signs of finding that whatever the bottom is going to be, that we will then start to build back from as a market and as a company. So just a few comments there. Some really cool successes. So we've got 4 offices there listed who their listings for the quarter were over their goal. We've got 2, 4, 6, 7 offices whose closed volume was over their goal, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 offices there that closed units were over their goals. So some really strong performances by some of our offices that are outperforming their goals and really working hard. And then these offices are offices that exceeded either closed units or closed volume quarter over quarter from 2022, from 2023 looking back at 2022. And some of them are up significantly. So just some really cool stuff going on in some of our offices. And these are some really shining lights in an otherwise challenging market, and just want to congratulate these offices on their success. Couple of comments on interest rates. So saw a little bit of movement now in the last few weeks. Interest rates, mortgage rates starting to show some signs of improving, lowering a little bit. This is coming on news of, hey, it seems like the Fed's starting to get inflation under control. A lot of commentary about this week's meeting. They will do another 0.25% rate hike, and that will kind of be the last one. They'll probably take a pause, at least, if you listen to the talking heads on, the financial networks. The thing that's still the anomaly in the whole process, and you've heard me talk about this before, is the spread between treasury rates and mortgage rates. It's still at an abnormally high amount. It's almost 3%. So if you take the mortgage rate or take the treasury rate and add like 2.9%, that's where mortgage rates are. And that's an abnormally high amount of risk premium for mortgages. It's traditionally in like the 1.7 range. So if we had the traditional spread right now with the current treasury rates, we'd be looking at a 5.75% mortgage rate in the market. So as the threat of inflation comes down and hopefully some confidence that there's not going to be a lot of foreclosure risk if we go into a recession because of the equity that people have and the average sales price and the amazing amount of sustained demand we have, hopefully that risk premium will start to get smaller. And even though the Fed may need to keep rates at an elevated rate for a longer period of time than normal to control the inflation that they're battling, there is room for mortgage rates to actually improve just based on the risk spread. So again, no crystal ball here, just pointing out an anomaly in the market and something that I think will improve over time. In fact, the only other time we've been above, we had a couple of weeks where that risk spread finished over 3%. The only other time that's happened since 1971, since we started having mortgage rates to look at, was in the early 80s. In that 80 to 82 timeframe, that spread got as high as like 5%. So this is the only time we've been above 3 in that entire period. And there's been some pretty, tough economic times in those timeframes where the spreads didn't get this high. So I would expect that to start to normalize and get back to a better position for us. So some comments on what I started with this morning. We keep hearing it. Some people feel trapped in their current home because of their interest rate. I want you to start really thinking about using some dialogues around, hey, interest rate is only one component of your total cost of home ownership. You have maintenance, you have taxes, you have the upkeep of the home as far as if they're in a larger home and they have larger lawn, if they have all those things. You have the time of keeping a larger home up to date and maintained, as well as you're making lifestyle sacrifices for financial reasons. So if we can start to shift the dialogue and have deeper conversations with our folks about what they really want out of their housing situation, instead of getting so fixated on one financial component of it, and talk about the bigger picture. And it still may not be right for some of your folks to move right now, but at least try to get them engaged in a deeper conversation than, oh, I have a 2.75% interest rate. Like it's like a badge of honor that they can't give that up, because they could be in a situation where the 2.75% with all the other costs of their home ownership is actually costing them more than a higher interest rate on the proper property would be. So just think about some of those things, add them to your toolkit, drive that message home. And I do believe that some of the delayed lifestyle choices people have made for financial reasons will eventually start to break free, and we'll start to see people get comfortable with the new interest rate environment, and we'll start to see more activity. Lots of demand still out there. This is the credit pools for home sale mortgage. It's kind of like an eye chart here, but what I want you to focus on are those purple lines on the right-hand side of each one of those stacks of blocks. So that is the volume of credit pulls that home sale mortgage is doing. And if you look at April, May, and June, 2023 is higher in all 3 months than 2021, and higher than 2020 in all 3 months, except for June of 2020 when we reopened after being closed for pandemic. So really, really strong demand out there relative to the increases in prices. And I know you guys are feeling that from competitive offer situations and price escalations and low inventory. So just something to keep in mind. People still want to solve their housing needs, even in this interest rate environment. So keep that in the back of your mind. We have demand. That'll help us if there is any job interruptions and any kind of recession that may come. I believe that there's a lot of still pent up demand that still needs to be met. So some industry litigation update. If you haven't seen it, the MLS PIN, which is New England's largest MLS, they were a named defendant in the Messick is the named defendant in a class action suit. It's one of three that are all similar. You have the Messick, you have the Morel, and the Sitzer. They're all basically making the same claim that the blanket cooperative compensation increases prices for sellers because of having to offer compensation for buyers agents. This MLS recently settled their piece of the case for $3 million in cash, and they agreed to end blanket cooperation compensation rules in their MLS structure. Now, this just applies to them. That settlement doesn't carry out to any of the other MLSs, but it could be a template to the resolution of this litigation down the road. So you've often heard me say, don't worry about this stuff until we'll pay attention to it and we'll tell you when you need to start doing stuff. Well, today I'm telling you, you need to start doing some things. I want you to be ready and start practicing some dialogues so that you're ready if this in fact becomes the rule of the nation and it becomes what we have to deal with going forward as an industry. So essentially what they're doing is they're decoupling in this MLS, the split between the listing agent and the buyer's agent. They're not making it mandatory to offer cooperative compensation. Doesn't mean you can't offer it, just means it's not mandatory. So something to pay close attention to. What can we do to get ready? And oh, by the way, guys, these are good things to be doing anyway. If we do this work and get ready for this change and it never comes to fruition, we're just going to be better professionals in our market and be better than the guy down the road. So what I want you to really be focused on the buyer agency side, when you're working with buyers, start with, it's getting much more important to get those buyer agency agreements executed right out of the gate. I strongly encourage you to do that. I think it's critical, and you just need to develop the dialogues on why it's important. You need to review your value proposition for when you're working with buyers. Get your buyer consultation dialogues down. Be a pro at delivering those. Talk about how you differentiate yourself in the marketplace, what you bring as an expert. The finding the house is the easiest part of the buyer piece. Anybody can go find the house. There's databases galore to go find a house. What you bring as an expert and a professional in the market is much deeper than that. It involves even consultation on house searching techniques. It involves knowing about inventory that's not yet in the MLS, so it's not yet on the portals. It involves knowing about what strategies you can do to actually get an agreement accepted, not just made. Those are things as a buyer consultation value proposition you need to be thinking about. You need to be practicing those things. You need to be really focused on the value you bring to your clients, because it could come a day where you're also having to tell them, and for that service, my fee is X. That's what I want you to be prepared for. Always, 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 or never, never, never talk about it being a free service. It's not free. It's built into the price. So we're getting paid out of the seller's commission, obviously. Do not classify it as a free service. And make sure you're able to really describe how we get paid. Be able to really do that well and to justify your value. God knows our buyer's agents are earning every single cent they are getting in the marketplace right now, with the number of offers they have to put in front of a buyer, the number of times they have to do things, the way they have to work in the world we're in with low inventory. So do not underestimate your value in helping people get into the housing situation that they seek. And again, if none of this comes to fruition, you'll just be better at your job anyway. We're going to be developing some content for this. We're going to be developing some training for this. When it comes down the pike, make sure that you make time for it. I think it'll be really valuable for you. And we'll keep a close eye on the Morrell and sister cases as well to make sure we're following what's going on there. Roughly about 3 months before they go to initial trial. Just a couple of notes on safety. We had some creepy stuff happening in a couple of places recently. Basically, person trying to get showing set up with female agents and vacant properties, just really some shady stuff. So just some thoughts. Always a great idea to start that unknown person, start that buyer consultation in an office or public place. Meeting them at an empty property is always a bad idea. If you need to take somebody along because you're uncomfortable, and trust your senses. If it seems creepy, it probably is. Make sure you got your creep monitors up. Use our in-house core services team. Todd Kraling shared with me a story that he had an agent in his office, had a buyer who wanted, quote unquote buyer, wanted to go see a vacant property, and she didn't feel comfortable, said, hey, I'd like you to come in and get pre-qualified. He's like, oh, well, I'm already pre-qualified. Here's my pre-qualification letter. She took it down to Todd and said, hey, what do you think about this? Todd took a quick look at it. He looked at the NMLS number and the name of the company, and in about 30 seconds was able to determine that the NMLS number didn't match the company, and the logo on the paperwork didn't match the company's name on their website, and pretty quickly was able to determine it was a fraudulent pre-qual letter, and that something was definitely amiss in this whole situation. So use your core service providers. They can help you sniff out some bad stuff too. And then review NAR's best practices. Like, there's some great details in those. It's not quote unquote realtor safety month, but it's always a good time to review those best practices. Just a quick couple of updates. Congratulations to Gary Schlechter. He's now officially the broker of record for Pennsylvania and Maryland. And just a reminder that Janice Herardi from our Annapolis office is for Virginia and DC. And Jim Hafer is our contract broker of record for West Virginia. We do have a few agents out in Hagerstown that are West Virginia agents, and so we contract with Jim to provide those services. So just some faces to go with names in case you get a chance to meet these folks. Want you to know who they are. We combined our Lebanon Fairview with our Lebanon Quinton Road office, and so now we have a single Lebanon office there at Fairview. Beautiful spot. Just a great office, and I think it'll serve our Lebanon agents and our Lebanon market really well. And if you know somebody who wants a commercial office building in Lebanon on 72, let me know. It is on the market and cleaned out and ready to get some photos in there soon and get it on in the MLS. We also were able to move our Timonium office to a better what we believe will be a better location. And that will be going on here at the end of the month, and we'll get them all set up. They're kind of in the process right now. So really exciting stuff going on in Timonium. Going to be, we were in a kind of a cavernous retail spot that didn't have a lot of energy in it because it was so big, and I think this will be a much better spot, create a lot more positive energy, have a lot more cohesion and collaboration, and give Tom and Gus a chance to really drive a great culture there in Timonium. So looking forward to that as well. So some second quarter initiatives that we completed. Wanted to go over these real quick. Just going to kiss on them pretty quick. Make sure you know about them, and if you need more information, the slide deck will go out later, and there will be opportunities to learn more. So we've been talking about it since last winter. 2023, it's a professionals market. The pros who are focused on their business and doing the right activity are having good years, and a few of them are having really great years and quote unquote record years because they're building upon success as they were growing because they stayed focused. And the question I have is, are you acting like a pro, operating like one? So we did an expert panel on this. We brought in 4 amazing agents. everybody with a little different perspective, everybody with a little bit different experiences. And I thought this panel was just fantastic. Gave us a lot of great advice, a lot of in-depth thoughts on how to really structure your day, your life, etc. And we got a lot of positive feedback on this. So thanks to Andy, Will, and Rose and Cynthia for participating. I really enjoyed doing it with you, and I know it was outside a few people's comfort zone, so glad it drove some personal growth as well. So, we've got a lot of agents are exiting the industry right now, and they're exiting because they're not doing the activities and not staying focused on the things that make a pro. So, there's this natural raising of the bar going on. And we're working diligently to try to help agents get back on track. We try to maintain a minimum standard of production to be a home sale agent. We want you to be doing a minimum of 4 transactions a year. We just think that creates that minimal level of professionalism and currency on how you do business in the marketplace. But it's also not fair to come to somebody in late November and say, hey, you didn't get your minimum. Can you pack your desk up and go home? So we're doing some mid-year reviews with folks. We're really trying to have some coaching and some plans to get people back on their horse and back into the right activities and really drive home their success. Because at the end of the day, as an organization, that's what we believe our purpose is it's in our core purpose is to help people achieve their dreams. And I don't think it's anybody's dream to do 0 transactions for a year and just pay MLS dues and association dues. And if that is your dream, we'll help you find it someplace else. So just don't mean to be harsh, but we believe in a culture of productivity, and that productive people attract productive people, and that eagles fly with eagles. So really driving this home right now, and getting some good coaching sessions and some good feedback on helping people get back on track. We had real estate planning month. Really cool results. I got a few anecdotal feedbacks from people who success stories, but getting out and doing real estate reviews and doing taking advantage of this national effort by Berkshire Hathaway to really own June as real estate planning month. So a couple of success stories to share. Linda Warner in our West York office, she did 90 real estate planning touches. 60 of those were in-person reviews. She's already gotten 1 client who needs to buy now, 1 in the next 6 months, and 1 that is planning in 2 years that she'll stay in touch with. And she's helping 1 person who was behind on their payments, and she's going to prevent them from going into foreclosure. And that is going to dramatically improve that person's life. And I can bet that will become a raving fan of Linda's in the future. Just got an update from Dolly Bailey this morning that Linda's gotten another listing from this effort from back in June that's going on the market very shortly. So really good outcome. And Donna Giovango shared with us that she had 3 in-person appointments, and from a marketing piece she sent out about making a real estate plan, and that's already turned into 1 referral that is a listing. And then she's also helped people find 2 HELOC loans that will lead to getting the home ready for a future listing. So some really positive stuff going on here. And guys, just because it's not June anymore doesn't mean you can't use this strategy. Get out there with those real estate reviews, use them as an opportunity to touch base with sphere of influence and your client base, and make sure that you are using that as one of those tools on the positive activities. Because not only will it lead to, I can't believe you called me, I was just thinking about what we should be doing about the house. It'll also lead to, well, we're not planning to do anything, but I know that the couple down the street is talking about moving their child just graduated college or whatever. So those contacts will lead to more contacts. Activity breeds activity. Really great feedback here. Homesale Settlement brought us the 1031 exchange training from 1031 Corp. And we had just phenomenal sessions. Tried to do as many as possible as we could live. based on the availability of trainers. Some of them did have to be Zoom in sales meetings, and then a couple of offices just schedules didn't work, and we did kind of a catch up for anybody who missed it who still wanted to see it. Great training, another tool in your toolbox on dialogues around ways to talk to investors and potential investors about the power of a 1031 exchange. And this is a continuing relationship. We've got the 1031 exchange newsletter that comes out that you can sign up for. We have a dedicated landing page with 1031 that we have a URL for, and then we'll have continual ongoing training with them and opportunities to do more with 1031 Corp, and just a great partnership with them, and look forward to a really continued effort here. Really good stuff. We brought you associate career development workshops in April and May. We brought workshops around real estate planning month during May, and then we brought you business planning in June. So really good career development workshops. Again, not on the schedule yet on when we'll be delivering it, but we will be developing some around this whole concept of the buyer agency value proposition. So more to come on that. We consolidated the Earnest Money, simplified the Earnest Money online deposit system. Instead of having a different link for every single office or marketplace, we've simplified that down to a single one per state. And that just has to do with the escrow account it goes into. And it has to do with where the property is, ideally, is the way we want it to tie out, I think. Maybe it's where the office is, I'm not sure. But just check with your office leader, and they'll make sure you get the right ones. But really makes this a lot easier. You're not searching around and sending the wrong link, and hopefully this will make this an even better program for you to take advantage of. Cloze delivered some enhancements for us, really around AI and ChatGPT. So really some essentially using ChatGPT in the background to kind of write a template for your responses. Really cool stuff. Really neat features here, and just keep looking for more. And it's the little light bulb is how you use it. So if you click the light bulb, it reads your message, and then it gives you reply options on how you want to reply to the message. Can really streamline, managing that arduous inbox that gets in our way sometimes. We delivered showing times plus this offer manager. This was already live in the marketplace, but we got it turned on for us. We got some training out for it, and it's just another thing that you can use. I think this is a pretty cool tool if used properly on trying to manage the offer processes. So just something to make sure you're aware of that's out there. So looking ahead, what are we working on in third quarter? This actually launched this quarter, but it'll be ongoing, is keeping it real. So the idea here is to provide a video content of a local market update. I'll be hosting the content. If you have ideas, certainly receptive to people sharing ideas of what you think would be good content for this. Really excited about it. And Amy and Benny from Agent Services keep me on task and make sure we get good content to you guys, and they're kind of my kind of critics in the room to make sure we get it delivered well. So hopefully this is something you can reshare, use, kind of drive activity on your social platforms. We'll be delivering Ninja Selling again. So if you haven't heard about Ninja, you haven't done Ninja, this is it's mindset, it's activities, it's really a system. It's about giving yourself a productivity system and a habit pattern on how to do your real estate business. And we've got both it's going to be delivered in, we haven't delivered it yet in the Maryland markets, so it's going to be delivered at the Sheraton down in Towson. But it's available for everybody. Just, it's not just for Maryland agents, it's for any agent in the company who would like to attend. You just register, and we'll be reimbursing $100 off of each one of your first 4 closed transactions after you after you complete the training. So while there's a fee of $699, you'll get reimbursed on the next 4 transactions, making your true cost $299. That's how much we believe in this. We're willing to put our resources behind it to make it a successful training program. And we've got a preview with Chandra Hall, who's our instructor. And not only is Chandra going to give you a preview of Ninja, she is also going to give some content, deliver some really content around navigating the shift in the market. So even if you've been through Ninja, even if you know the dates don't work for you, even if for whatever reason, Ninja's not the right fit at the moment, try to get to this Ninja selling agent preview, because I think that the content that Chandra is going to deliver during that session will be beneficial for anyone, even if you don't decide to end up going to Ninja installation in September. dotloop 2.0 is still in its beta process. Got a quick update from Jen Jones this morning. They continue to kick the can down the road a little bit. A lot of it's based on feedback from Jen and reviewing it and making sure that it's right. We are adamant that we don't want them to push it out until it's ready. It needs to be ready the day it rolls out, not 6 months after it rolls out. It's too important of a system for the way we do our business today. And so through Jen and others around the country, but mostly Jen, we're making sure they get it done right. So dates coming in the fall at this point. So future workshops, we're going to be using some workshops around how to use Cloze, not just to manage your contacts and your database, your client base, but we're also going to be using it for how to manage your transactions and how to stay connected during the transaction. So it's really strong, like next level training in Cloze. So highly encourage that. And then once dotloop 2.0 is ready to go, we'll be hosting some in-person workshops around how to use those enhancements in that new system. Got some Sunshine Kids events coming up. Really had a cool experience. You can see I've got my Sunshine Kids button on today. I kind of got reinvigorated a little bit this month. I was in New York City for something else and bumped into a Sunshine Kids trip at my hotel. And it was really kind of neat to see the kids out and enjoying themselves and having that opportunity to get away from their cancer treatments to just be a kid again. So we've got designer handbag bingo in Hanover, our golf tournament and helicopter ball drop. So even if you're not a golfer and even if you can't make the 27th, you can buy a helicopter drop ball and have an opportunity to win and support the Sunshine Kids, and we'd love you to do so. And then we have another handbag and gift basket bingo in the Lancaster Farm and Home Center in October. So try to get out and support these events. I know the organization is very appreciative for everything that we do and everything that the Berkshire Hathaway Network does to support the Sunshine Kids. And that's, I guess we had 2 on that. Sorry about that. Next quarter's town hall is October 24th. Same bat time, same bat channel. Little preview for the gala. So save the date, March 7th, back at the Lancaster Marriott. We're working on changing the formatting a little bit, fixing some of the things that we got feedback on. Thank you for everybody who provided feedback. Really trying to change up the event a little bit to refresh it. But it will be a Mardi Gras theme to kind of tie in with our New Orleans convention. That's literally the next week, which is the next slide. So March 10th is when convention starts. So I know a lot of you a lot of our convention goers like to either extend on the front end or extend on the back end of a convention. So with the gala being on the 7th, we're encouraging you to consider extending on the back end of convention instead on the front end, because we'd love to have you at the gala as well. And then just to save the date for 2025 location. I think it's TBD is probably not right. I think it's determined but not announced would be to be the proper way to say it. But we'll find out in March where it's going to be. But March 23rd to 25th is the 2025 convention. So you can go ahead and get those dates in your calendars as well. And then, as always, plug for help at Homesale. If you have any questions, this resource is basically a funnel. You get it to help at Homesale, and they will make sure that your need gets to the perfect person who's best equipped to answer that question and get them in touch with you so that we can solve your problem as quickly as possible. So help at Homesale, help at Homesale, help at Homesale. And that concludes my remarks for the morning. So I hope you all have a great third quarter and that you take advantage of the beautiful weather we've been having here in the Mid-Atlantic. Most of the rest of the country isn't getting it, so enjoy it. And I hope to see all of you very soon in my travels around the company. As much as I love delivering content to a lot of people at once through this medium, nothing is ever better than getting the opportunity to sit face to face with you guys and get feedback on what's going well and what you need help with and what's going on in the world of local real estate where you're working, because that's really, really important to informing decisions that we as a company make and how we go forward. So look forward to seeing you in an office near you soon. Thank you, guys.